Things are being thrown. There's no room for this in the sport. There's no room for the Davis brothers to be in the building tonight. The police escorted them out. You saw a stroller being moved.
Jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting.
I think the hardest punch I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch.
Tensions are high backstage as Gerona Davis and Lamont Roach come face-to-face ahead of their highly anticipated rematch. But Roach remains calm and composed, tuning out Davis's trash talk. He's not interested in the mind games. His focus is entirely on the fight. Confident in his preparation, Roach believes his performance in the ring will speak louder than any words, and is convinced he'll leave the arena with the win.
By the outside critics, I know what I could do in the ring, and that's the only thing that matters, honestly, is that I go out and give it my all and perform, and most likely, 9 times out of 10 when I do that, I'll be victorious.
Lamont Roach has confidently dismissed the idea that Gerona Davis is the most powerful opponent he's faced. In his words, he's been hit harder in past fights, and Davis's power doesn't faze him. Roach's calm and collected demeanor reflects a fighter who's been through wars, experienced, resilient, and unshaken by hype. He's made it clear, he's not here to be intimidated.
I think the hardest punch I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Okendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lie to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie. He a hard hit.
In their first bout, a rare lapse from Davis saw him take a knee, a moment that shocked fans and shifted the entire narrative. That sequence lit a spark, casting Roach as the first man to truly push Davis to his limits. Since then, the buzz around Roach has only grown. With many now believing he could take control in the rematch, the pressure is on Davis like never before, because this time, Roach is not just seen as a challenger but a real threat.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have countered it. They would have countered it, would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He seemed a little distracted, didn't he, in the fight?
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, he's like, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
you know, funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same when I fought Andre. That burning my eyes, so I cut that off.
Recent training footage of Gerona Davis reveals a transformed fighter, leaner, stronger, and laser-focused. His physique looks sharper, and his demeanor shows renewed determination. Alongside confident messages posted online, it's clear that Davis isn't just training harder, he's preparing to dominate. His fans feel the shift and are rallying behind what many believe will be a powerful comeback. Boxing legend Roy Jones Jr. praised Davis's explosive style, pointing to his rare ability to combine raw power with elite technique. While Jones admits this fight remains unpredictable, he's betting on Davis's ring presence to overwhelm Roach. According to Roy, Tank isn't just back. He's ready to take control and remind the world why he's one of the most feared in the sport.
Saturday night, Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach. What are we expecting from this fight?
Well, we're expecting Gervonta to just continue to show us his dominance and show us who he really is. It's really a coming out party for Roach, but we kind of haven't seen him a lot. So he gets to show people what he has too. And usually when you get two guys who are boxers amateurs, it's going to equate to a good fight for the first few rounds. But then when the pro round takes over, we'll find out, has Roach adjusted to being a pro yet, or is Tank too superior now as a pro? And that's where the difference will come in. You got a good back foot game like that, and you understand boxing like he understands it, he gonna make it rough for anybody. But you know, Tank is a different animal too. So it's a great fight. That's why everybody want to see it. We can't just look at it and say, oh, he gonna win, or oh, he gonna win.
Many believe Davis wasn't himself in the first fight. Whether it was personal distractions or a flawed game plan, he didn't show his true form. But now, with his pride on the line, everything's changed. Davis's training, attitude, and public statements all point to one thing. This rematch isn't just about revenge. It's about restoring his legacy and silencing every last doubt.
So breaking news, Tank Davis vs. Lamont Roach 2 is set for August 16th in Las Vegas. And this is a rematch of one of the most controversial fights in recent memory, where Roach arguably won 7 to 8 rounds of that fight, and then Tank took a voluntary knee in round 9, which wasn't ruled a knockdown, but ultimately, it was scored a majority draw. Now in the rematch, I do expect Tank to look much better than he did in the first fight. I don't think that was his best performance by any means, and that means being more active in the early rounds, not just staying on the ropes looking for counters. And I'm sure he'll be willing to exchange more with Roach this time around. The left hands, the combinations, the body shots, that's where he had the most success in the first fight. And Roach, he just needs to stick to what made him so successful in the first fight. His forward pressure, staying behind that jab and right hand. But most importantly, he wasn't scared to take it to Tank, but he also didn't get too aggressive. Most of Tank's opponents, if they're scared of the power, they'll sit back on the ropes, get slowly broken down, or if they end up getting too aggressive, they get caught with the counterpunch. But Roach, he was sharp that whole fight. I would go Tank in the rematch. I think he has a lot more to show this time around. But Roach did prove to be a very tough test. But you guys let me know who you got.
For Lamont Roach, this rematch is about more than just winning. He wants a knockout. His relentless training camp reflects a hunger to make a statement that echoes through the sport. A decisive victory over Davis wouldn't just be an upset. It would redefine his career, elevate him into boxing's elite, and carve his name into the sport's legacy with force.
That you sent him to retirement earlier.
My initial plan is to win, but every time I fight, I'm trying to knock somebody out. So, if that happens in the midst of it, that'd be a blessing. That'd be definitely something that I work for, because I work my ass off. But if he on his way out, why not kick his ass out? It does in a sense, but yeah, it do for sure. I ain't gonna lie. I like to prove people wrong, and I damn sure like to prove myself right. So it definitely gives me an incentive. And like I said before, I've been here before. Mm-hmm. The Hector fight, they had me duck. Right now, they really got me. They really got me.
Roach has spoken openly about his preparation, claiming he's more than ready. But it's not arrogance, it's conviction built from countless hours of disciplined training. He believes he's equipped with every tool needed to face whatever version of Gerona Davis shows up. In Roach's mind, there's no scenario he hasn't already prepared for.
Beat 30 people, knocked out, 28 of them, right? What makes you different?
He probably can't answer that question. He probably can't answer that question. But it's the skill, the will. I got the whole package, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not sitting there waiting to get hit by nobody, especially somebody that's supposed to be a power puncher. That's evidently a power puncher. I got too much.
Trainer Greg Hackett made it clear. The stakes are sky high for both fighters. In his eyes, neither side holds a clear advantage. The margin for error is razor thin. For Gervonta Davis especially, Hackett warns that absolute focus and discipline will be the difference between victory and disaster. One slip, he says, and it's over.
It's rumors of what's going on in Tank's camp and, training with this person, training with that person.
Yeah.
Who has the edge heading into the rematch?
Neither one of them. Lamont, you know what, I'm lying. 55-45, Lamont.
Why?
Lamont got the edge because he already did the unexpected. He was supposed to get knocked out coming up from 130. And not only did he not get knocked out, he performed and possibly won the fight. That's what some people believe. I thought it was a very close fight. But after you asked me that question, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I think Lamont do have a slight edge, just because he did what he wasn't supposed to do. So a lot of people go in there and they're very obedient to Tank's power, and Lamont wasn't there that night. Lamont wasn't having it, and he said he wasn't having it. He said it before. Y'all tripping. Y'all must be really tripping. So I guess we was tripping.
Could we see the most focused Gervonta Davis after him getting so much backlash for the performance, for the taking a knee, etc.?
This would be the night we have to see the most focused because if he's not the most focused, then he's gonna be in trouble. It's just that simple. this is the night. You got to be not on your A game. You got to be on your everything game. You know what I'm saying? You got to have everything with you that night, and you can't play about it. And you got to mean it. Every step got to be counted for, and he know that. So I'm looking for this just to be a great fight. Great fight.
Who you picking to win?
Mikey Garcia offered a sharp analysis, crediting Davis for his ability to adapt and learn from past mistakes. But Garcia didn't sugarcoat his warning. Without mental clarity, even the best strategies collapse. His message was blunt. If Davis isn't mentally locked in, he shouldn't even step in the ring.
And hopefully, I'd like to see it.
I think Tank wins in the rematch.
Why?
I think he'll make the right adjustments, and he won't take too long to fight. He kind of gave a lot of the round away sometimes. I think he'll be more active and he'll win. But big props to Roach for his last fight and performance. Fuck, surprised everybody.
Right.
I think he was robbed from the victory. Again, that knockdown should have been a knockdown.
Right.
But whatever, he gets a rematch, you know. And maybe they get a third fight, you know, after that. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe it turns the markets back,
Maybe it turns out to be another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think
the edge.
I'm not a psychiatrist, bro. I don't know. Everybody's a little different. What I got to say is, like, if you're dealing with any mental health, it seems to be a very common thing. I mean, if you don't feel that you're 100% dedicated or 100% capable of blocking out, you know, personal life issues or whatever to get in the ring, then don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring. Now, if you're...
But it seems like a lot of fighters are going through stuff and they get in the ring.
If you're going through stuff and you feel like maybe it's helping, like he says, maybe it's helping him fucking do it, fuck, let him do it. I don't know. Dude.
Kenny Ellis acknowledged Roach's impressive work ethic, but he cautioned against reading too much into training footage. The real test, Ellis said, comes when you're getting hit, when your lungs burn, and when it's no longer about drills, it's about heart. For Ellis, Davis' grit in those moments is what truly separates champions from contenders.
Another great fucking matchup, and they say, you know what, let's run it back.
Right.
And maybe that controversy from the first fight actually helps Roach fucking get 3 fights out of it instead of just the one, or you know, you never know. So hey, things happen for a reason, and I think he did really well in his first one. Hopefully he puts on a great fight, even if he were to lose, but in a great fight, shit, he'll get a third fight.
Right.
You know?
Mikey, what do you make of him saying he wants to go to therapy to fix his like mental health, but not yet because he doesn't want to get fixed yet because he needs that?
In the ring, then don't get in the ring. Don't get in the ring. Now, if you're...
But it seems like a lot of fighters are going through stuff and they get in the ring.
If you're going through stuff and you feel like maybe it's helping, like he says, maybe it's helping him fucking do it. Fuck, let him do it. I don't know. Dude, I have personal stuff. A lot of fighters have issues. It's life, bro.
Yeah.
This is our job, but their life keeps going. Life continues.
You have to juggle this with life.
You have to juggle. You have to balance. And it's tough, bro. It ain't easy. It ain't easy at all. You gotta be dealing with family, with kids, with wives, with girlfriends.
You know what's crazy that I always see the same story.
For Gerona Davis, this rematch isn't just about getting even, it's about survival. 1 loss can be excused. 2, that's a narrative changer. A second defeat would trigger serious doubts about Davis' place among boxing's elite. Fans and analysts alike would start questioning whether he still belongs at the top. His pride, his image, and his future all ride on this fight. Davis isn't just chasing redemption. He's fighting to protect his legacy.
Is the rematch happening or what? Because I'm ready to see a motherfucker get knocked out again. I'm not here to debate because y'all really go neck and neck for this for the rest of the tournament on who y'all think really won, who y'all think should have won, who y'all think didn't win. This is probably one of the biggest debates that will never be solved. Well, they put up a good fight, I'm not going to lie, y'all, but damn near seemed like it was set up for them to have another match. Because exactly what Lamont did to Tank the whole first half, that's what Tank did to Lamont the whole second half, so what the fuck? It literally went neck for neck. I feel like it was a tie in my opinion. So hard to even say that though because you just see so much demolishment from one and then for it to flip to the other and it just had your mind like, what? It's really had your mind blown. Like, what the fuck? I feel like when it came to the decision of the fight, a lot of people were real biased. A lot of people definitely went off of just their personal opinion of the person, their history of liking the person, not off of the fight itself. I will admit that really going into this fight, the first time, I thought Lamont was going to get his shit knocked off. I thought Tank was going to do him in. Now, although Tank, if I'm not going to lie, Lamont had him. He stuck with him the whole 12. If you know anything about boxing, especially boxing a motherfucker like Tank, you know that it's to flex the last 12 rounds just as much as it is to beat a motherfucker. The fact that Lamont lasted 12 rounds with him was really getting up, I'm not gonna lie, stinging shit, all 12. It showed that this next match gonna really show who the fucking winner was. I do gotta say, Tank probably gonna come ready for him, but the fact that Lamont came ready for him, as ready for him as he did last match, I ain't gonna lie, I'm scared for both of them. This should be bigger than the Super Bowl, I'm not gonna lie. They say it's supposed to be happening in the summer, which would be a really good way to kick off the summer. And I know these two got a vengeance out for each other. Regardless of growing up together and fighting together, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. The way that fight went down, I'm not gonna lie, I really feel like this is gonna be history. Like, I can't wait to watch this.
Kenny Ellis has hinted that Davis' camp has been working on something big: secret adjustments, new tactics, and a totally revamped game plan. While the details remain under wraps, the mystery has only fueled the hype. Whatever changes are being made behind closed doors, Team Davis believes they'll flip the script. That's why this rematch isn't just a sequel. It's one of the most anticipated showdowns in recent boxing memory.
What do you see?
Both of them, like I said, they both at, top of the game. I see a competitive fight. Nice, clean, crispy shots like the first fight,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't speak on what I seen, but the fight will be different.
Right, because you could strategize and do different things.
Yeah, it'll be different.
Rolando "Rolly" Romero came to Gervonta Davis' defense, reminding critics that even legends have off nights. He argued that one subpar performance shouldn't overshadow Davis' entire career. In Romero's eyes, Davis is still one of the sport's most dangerous fighters, a name that commands respect and fear across the division.
That people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a off night with Cruz. Everyone has a off night. It's boxing.
You want to run that back with Cruz or what?
Maybe down the line.
Teofimo Lopez reflected on the aftermath of Davis' first fight with Roach, noting how quickly the support around him faded. According to Lopez, Davis seemed isolated, abandoned in the wake of criticism. That sudden silence from fans and insiders triggered a wave of doubt about Davis' place among boxing's elite. For Lopez, this rematch is about much more than redemption. It's a chance for Davis to rewrite the story, reclaim his reputation, and remind the world that one bad night doesn't define a champion. In the brutal world of boxing, this is Davis' moment to fight not just for victory, but for legacy.
I know a lot of people, look what they did with Gervonta too. I want everybody, all these young fighters that are listening to this, and you could clip this. It's a short part right here.
I got you.
To Ryan could clip this right here. To all you young fighters, look at the amount of love they were giving and sharing to Gervonta Tank Davis prior to the fight. Look at what all the reporters were doing prior to the fight. Look how they were all laughing at all his jokes prior to his fight against Lamont Roach. After the fight, look how many were waiting to down this man. Down him. See, I'm going to talk my smack with Tank, but that's because I want to fight him. That's me. I can say that. But I just want all you young fighters to really look about it. They don't care about us.
Yeah.
They won't ever care about us. When you winning, they're going to be there. But they're waiting for any moment to slip up. Just a man, even a draw, look how much hate he got out of it.
Yeah, not to get deep, but, it's a part of our psychology. We have to learn how to care about other people,
Sean Porter acknowledged the heat Davis has faced lately, but he wasn't shy about showing respect. He praised Davis' sharp boxing IQ, explosive power, and ability to read opponents mid-fight, qualities Porter says put Davis in a class of his own. Despite the criticism, Porter believes Davis is still one of the most dangerous fighters in the lightweight division. Writing him off, he warns, would be a serious mistake. With a unique blend of intelligence and intensity, Davis remains a true force in boxing and is far from done.